Hey, Ryder. Okay. Let me. Let me do. Go back. I recorded it and then I wasn't recording, so I drew all over it. Okay. Anyways, before you trade and you start to see patterns, that'll all come later. You need to just know a couple of the basic things in trading, so you can in the candle chart, so you can understand like when a really really safe place to get in is. Basically, I mean, I'm sure you know how candle charts work. Each of them represents 5-minute time periods if you're on the 5-minute chart. Hang on, let me just real quick overview just so you get why these are the way they are and why they indicate what's going to happen in the market next. On a candle, always the right here and right here, the top and bottom of the body of the candle indicate the opening and closing price. If the closing price is higher than the opening price for that 5 minutes, it's green. And if the closing price is lower, it's red. So if the price goes down in the 5 minutes, it's a red candle. If it goes up, it's a green. But the wicks tell the real story. So even though the opening and closing price represent the body of the candle, the wicks are the range of prices that happened in that 5 minutes. So the closing price here is right at this number, and then during the 5 minutes, it actually got a little bit higher to this number. Get it? Okay, so when you see big green candles like this, now they have to have big green bodies. They're called like power bodies. They're large green candles, and they have just a small wick on either side. Doesn't matter if there's a wick on the bottom. It doesn't matter if the wick is longer at the bottom. But if the wick at the top is tiny, that's good. And if it looks like this is called a power candle, and this is a good indicator price is going to go up. Why? Because there is not much resistance here from sellers. So basically, at the end of the 5 minutes, the price has fluctuated quite a bit and gone up with little resistance. So it's probably still going up quickly. This candle here is the best candle you could ever see, because it means there's no wick on top, no wick at all. That means the closing price is also the highest price paid for that 5 minutes, which means when the next candle starts, it's just going to start right here and just continue going up because there's no resistance there, no wick. With the red, it's the complete opposite. It's just big red candle like this. It's going to go down, and then this means, absolutely zero resistance to push the price back up. It's in a free fall, okay? Let's go look at that in real time, or on Coin Poker. Let's see here. Okay, so let me open my Coin Poker. Here we are. Okay, so let's check it out. Where do we see a big red candle? Let's look at this one right here. This is the first big red candle, exactly how I described. Small wicks on both sides, very small wick on the bottom where it needs to be small, and then boom. You see the immediate downward price action. Now, this would have been a great time to get in. You see this big candle, you say, I'm going to short it. Now, what do you see in the second candle? You see it's still red, but you see this wick at the bottom getting longer. You see how it's getting longer right there? That's pushback. That's a little pushback saying that, no, the closing price now is far away. It's much farther than on this one. The closing price is much farther away than the lowest price paid. Now, pushback even more. The wick has gotten smaller. The pushback actually isn't too much smaller because the wick is shorter, but the entirety still looks like a big red candle, just like I said, still downward motion. I would stay in because of that. So like if this candle right here, this one right here, if it turned into something like this right here, if the wick kept getting longer and the body kept getting shorter and pushed to the top, I would hop out. But because it went back to another big red candle, big power candle, I would stay in. Here, you're seeing pushback. Then here is where the market starts to adjust. And now you're seeing so much pushback that the candle is green. That's when you would get out. So you would get in around, let's say, here, 118, whatever, and then you would get out about somewhere when you first started seeing this green candle form, so somewhere around here. So now these candles mean indecision, spinning tops, whatever. they all look kind of the same. It doesn't matter if they're red or if they're green. They mean don't get in, don't buy, right? They're sideways action. Nothing's going to happen. But then you see, what's this? What's this? Is there a wick at the top? I don't see much of a wick at the top of this one. Good sign, yes. When there's no wick at the top, what does that mean again? It's just going straight up. The closing price is pretty much the same as the highest price paid in 5 minutes, or 1 minute for this chart. That means it's going to go up. So once you see this candle, no wick on top, strong body, not as strong as, like, you know, this one, this big red one, but it's strong enough without a wick on top. Get back in. Get back in, and here we go up, up, and then get out as soon as you see this indecision happening where it's going sideways. Now, let's keep looking and seeing where we can find another example of this. Let's go to the 5 minute. I think that the 5 minute charts are the best for kind of making these kinds of determinations. So let's see here. Big red candle right here. It has a decent sized wick at the bottom, but it's a big red candle, which means probably going to go down. And look at that, it does. It would have gone down even crazier if there was no wick at the bottom, but this is still a good indicator. Downward action, indecision, downward action. Now, let's keep looking. I'm trying to find a good one where there's like no wick, but those are, like I said, those are kind of rare, and they have to be like big. So here, oh wait, no, that's going the wrong way though. This one is a big red or a big green candle, but look, the wick is missing at the bottom, and that doesn't matter. You need it to be missing at the top on the green, at the bottom on the red. Let me see if I can show you some other examples of interesting things. This is the main thing you should know. Like the ones that this is the easiest way to make money doing this. Okay. If it's on the 5 minute chart and it's clear as day that it's like it's in a down, if it's like there's no wick on the top, you know it's going up for sure, you see the momentum, you can do a pretty high margin on that in terms of your futures. You know, like you're extremely risky. You can do like times a lot on that one. But for most, I would keep the risk mid and just ride it out, because a lot of these trades will be like, check it out. Like, for instance, if I saw this candle, this guy right here, I know it's not too big of a green one, but I do see that there's no wick at the top. I'd buy in. I would buy in, and I would get some progress here, and it would probably go down and concern me a little bit, and then I would just wait it out, get some progress here. But if you wait this out, it's gonna hit all the way up here. You're gonna make a lot of progress. You're gonna go from here to here, okay? That's a big jump. And if you're doing margin, yeah, if you're doing like times, 500 or something, that's huge. Now, I wouldn't do times 1,000 on that one, obviously, because your liquidation might be, you might hit it somewhere around there. I don't know. But so low margin on things like this, where the candle isn't, a really big power candle. But then keep going along. Let's see, 5 minute chart still. Where's another move where I'm trying to find one where I'd make a big move. When this candle, okay, this candle, for instance, big red little wicks. This one just happened a couple, 5-10 minutes ago, whatever. This one, absolutely down. I would go down on this one. This is a big red candle with small wicks, and let's keep watching and see how far down it goes. But this would be obviously an indicator to go down. Let's check the 1 minute. You see more volatility on the shorter, on charts that are, less time, obviously, and they're less reliable for long-term holds. And by long-term in this kind of trade environment, I mean like maybe 20 minutes. That's like long-term, right? So I wouldn't count on this for long-term. But here we go. Let's zoom in here. This very small wick at the bottom, indicator it's going down. I'd probably throw in like a large trade on that. Like I'd do like just to see, like go up to like 1,000, sell out right there. Let's see what else. Where's a good one? This one I would definitely do. I would do downward on, and you see it does go up a bit and then eventually does go down, depending on how this is a minute chart. So again, like if you're looking at a 5 minute trade, and you or let's say a 10-minute trade and you're in a minute chart. So here's the first minute, you decide to go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, indecision. 6 minutes, you're out. You're out in 6 minutes when you see that indecision. Then you see this candle come around without a wick on top, hop back in. 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minute, indecision, get out here. Indecision, get out here. Starts going down, indecision, 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 indecision. You know, these are all just minute, 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 minute. But yeah, so let's see. It gets even more complicated in terms of like, I don't know, volatility. If you go to the 5 seconds, but it's always good to look at the 5-second chart and to look at the 15-second chart, because if you're looking at only the 5-minute chart, those candles take a while to form. You go down over the 15 chart, you can see what's happening you can see the candles being formed to build that bigger one, right? So it can give you a good indicator of what's going to happen and what kind of candle you're going to end up with in the 5-minute. So I like to bounce around. But in terms of good decisions, do the larger candles. Let's check out Ethereum. Let's see what's going on with Ethereum. Ethereum, let's do a 1-minute candle chart. See if we have any good examples. Here. Let's do 5-minute. Here. Okay, so, here's a good one. Look at this. Power ass fucking candle. I would get in that one. There's not too much of a wick on top. Get in. Get in. And as you can see here, it goes up. You could either get out here with that indecision candle, or you could ride it out and see if it goes up some more. But generally speaking, if you see a candle that's this big and green, this big of an indicator, I would do like 1,000 times margin, and I would get out right here. So I would just go from here to here, and then I would get out. But with those kind of margins, that's all you need to do. Let's see what else we got here. What other ones are looking good? This one, small wick at the bottom. I would probably say downward trend, so get out around here. See, this is a big red candle, which generally, it's like, yeah, that could mean it's going down for sure. Not for sure. That could mean it's going down, but because there's that wick that's larger on the bottom, it's a little bit harder to tell, right? You want that wick on the bottom to be smaller, or at least matching the size of the one on the top, not longer. So this one's generally, I would say, is good to go down, but I wouldn't do high margin on that one, I don't think. Yeah. Let's go back to Bitcoin. What are we seeing here? So what are we seeing here? Some indecision, right? Indecision. This is a decent sized candle with small wicks, definitely downward trend. I would hop in there. I would hit down. I would go down. Anything else? I mean, you're going to start seeing these resistant points too. So basically, this is like beyond what we're going to cover today, but like you're going to see these points like right here, which line up across the board where the sellers push back, right? And the price gets stuck right here, and it's hard to surpass and break out of these points. That's why this was a crazy candle, right? This one right here, because it broke past, the standard kind of area where all of the price kind of started to level out. See here, this is where all of the indecision is for this one, and then you come over here and we get a higher one. It's tricky to know that that's coming, because here's an indecision one. That's generally where I would get out, and I wouldn't necessarily say any of these ones on the way up, based on what you know right now, would be indicative of price movement like that. When you get better at reading charts, you'll see that when they start to match on both sides like this, like there's patterns you can look for. It is a big sign that things are going to go up. But for now, don't worry about that. Just look at what we went over, and big power candles that have short wicks, that have no wicks, depending on what side is on, is what you want to look for. Okay, so let's pretend like if you were live trading now, I would just like go to Solana, go try all the tokens and see what you got in the 5-minute chart. If you see anything like that coming, watch it carefully. You can go to the 5 or 1-minute chart for this. I'd say I wouldn't go any lower. And look for those big candles that are. Look at this one. Look at this one right here. No wick basically on the bottom. Very little tiny wick, and then down. That would have been a great time to get in. Let's keep going. Let's find another one. This is a big green candle. I would say that means some upward price action in the long run. I would be watching for that. And then what other ones can we see here? Let's go back to the 5-minute. Okay. Hey, it's not sure. It's not always the right. It's not always right though, because look at right here. I would have gone big right. I would have gone up for this one, and that went down a bit. And did it ever come back up? It did, but man, I think I probably would have liquidated on that. So be careful. I mean, nothing's for sure, but this candle, I would have probably hopped in and said everything was going to go up. But then the minute, okay, so let's say you do that. This is good. Actually, I'm glad I brought this up. Let's say you see this candle and you're like, oh wow, the closing price is so close to the highest price paid. It's going to go up. And then the first thing you notice is a red candle starting to be formed and there being a lot of pushback. Get out before you liquidate, because if it's going to work the way it should work, it should just immediately start going up. There should be no red candle. Just get out. Don't wait for it to correct. It's either going to happen or it's not. You know what I mean? If you have immediate pushback, that's a sign that it's not going to happen. So just, yeah, get out if that happens. But I mean, that's pretty rare, especially with a candle like that. That is very rare. Okay, so I guess that's all I'm going to do now. I'm going to upload this. Bye.